Welcome to the 14th anniversary special edition of Drive Time. Yeah, it was about 14 years ago this week that Drive Time kicked off as the morning drive at the local CBS affiliate here in the area where I live in Albany. And so I thought I'd celebrate today by shooting this Drive Time segment in a completely different way than what you're accustomed to. Now, I've been going on YouTube, even though I don't typically like to watch other car review videos. I don't want to have other people's ideas influence mine, especially before I test drive a car, and frankly, I'm just not that interested in watching them to begin with. So the ones I have seen, though, are usually shot kind of like this. There's some guy with a flip camera or something else, and he sits it over here where you are in the passenger seat, and then aims it at himself, and then drives around for like 15 minutes and just blabbers about the car. And I think to myself, man, is that lazy and easy? And it was the easy part that I picked up on. I said, you know, I can do that. We cannot really spend time doing car-to-car shots and fancy driving shots, and we'll leave all the settings on auto. I've got no cameraman today, just the tripod. It's gonna rattle and probably do all kinds of stuff over there. But these videos are getting like hundreds of thousands of views. So I admit, I get a little frustrated sometimes. I see some of my videos, you know, puttering along at like 10 or 20,000 views at a time. And then I see these guys who, I don't even know who they are. And they're out there with their little flip cameras and they just sit there and they drive. So we'll try that today. I'm not gonna do any fancy editing. We'll go get the car washed to start, you know, just like I normally would, except we'll actually shoot the car wash. So I'll try to make this as boring as the ones I typically see. But if that's popular, we'll give it a try, see what happens. We'll have some fun with it. And maybe we'll keep this style. But yeah, it's the 14th anniversary edition. You can see I'm celebrating here with all of my fans and friends that we've gathered over that period of time. Like, nobody. But thank you, actually. You guys are great. I've had, what is it, about 6.5 million, 7 million views at this point, with zero promotion over about 3 years' time. So that's pretty good. I'm not complaining about that. If it wasn't for you guys, and I think I have the smartest viewers on YouTube, because you guys leave great comments for the most part. I rarely have to go in and delete somebody or block somebody for something stupid or profane, which I do from time to time. If you notice, I don't really care for that. But a lot of my viewers are great, and I really like to interact with them. So I may not have the most out there, but I definitely have the smartest. And now we're at the intersection. Oh yeah, the car we're driving today. Of course, this is a review, right? This is the 2012 Buick LaCrosse with eAssist. And eAssist is Buick's new mild hybrid technology. And you may remember that being on previous, there's an old Camaro. Being on previous GM cars in the past. And then they kind of gave up on it. It was on the Malibu, the View. And now they slapped this fancy eAssist name on it. And they're bringing it back. And this is the first car that gets it. It's the LaCrosse. This is Buick's. You can see I live on a street where getting out is not easy in the morning. And it's dark and it's in the morning. Yeah, so Buick is going with this to improve the fuel economy of this model. And we'll see how it takes off with the consumer. You pay a little more for it. But the reason manufacturers go with mild hybrids is because they're less expensive to produce than the full hybrids. Mild hybrid meaning that it never is going to run on electricity alone. It's always going to be either a hybrid drive motion or just the gas engine. And there's a little gauge here. You can't see it, and I don't even know if I'll bother to shoot it, because that's what my colleagues would do. But we'll actually look down here and check it out later. But anyway, there's a little gauge here that shows you when you're in the correct power mode for hybrid or engine. And yeah, so it's a very comfortable car. The Buick LaCrosse always has been. It's always been one of my favorite riding cars. I'd say it has the The softest ride on the market. By far the most comfortable seats. These seats are incredible. I would put these seats in any car. They're so supportive. They follow the contour of your back. They're soft. They're luxurious. They're everything you think of when you think of Buick. And this is the biggest car in the Buick lineup now that the Lucerne is dead. So this is probably, you know, the older person's Buick, right? Because, I mean, let's face it, Buick has had that stigma of being the car brand of the octogenarian now for years. They're trying to shed that with the cars, like the Buick Regal and the GS and the Chevy Sonic twin there, the Verano. So, yeah, this car is that person's car, and that person's gonna love this car. I love that car. I'm not that old, but I think the LaCrosse has always been this generation has always been a really fine sedan. Okay, here we are at the car wash, and yeah, we're gonna get this baby washed up. I'll do a few beauty shots later. We'll walk around the car, handheld style, guerrilla style, just like the videos that I'm trying to emulate today.
Welcome to Colonial Car Wash. Insert credit card or cash, and
we shall.
You have selected the special car wash.
Because you're special. I am getting the special wash. You're still special. And there it goes.
Thank you for your purchase.
Now, the key thing about the car wash, if you don't know, and a lot of people ask me, Steve, how do you keep these cars so clean in the wintertime in upstate New York when you're out shooting them? We put a lot of time into this. Today, I'm not going to put a lot of time into this. We're just going to drive through and get the dirt washed off. And here, listen to this. Hear that? Yeah, that's the rocker panels getting all washed off for you. Yep, oh, the LaCrosse goes through the car wash beautifully. It is smooth as butter. Look how it pulls in. Oh, and there's the red tone. Time to shift her into park. Now here's the thing. I got a couple of bits of advice here for those of you who take your cars to the car wash. For one, if you're in a bay like this, especially in cold climates, shut the engine off. You know why that is? Because the exhaust pipe has emissions coming out of it, right? Exhaust. And it gets in the way of the little seeing eye lens on this little arm that goes around. And sometimes if it clouds it over, what'll happen is that it can no longer see the back of the car. So it'll start spraying the water like a million miles behind the car. You don't want that. My other bit of advice, and I go to the car wash probably more than anybody in history, is that what's the most underrated part of a car wash? It's the drying. No car washes do a good job of drying, so you always have to bring your own cloth. See, this hygroscopic nuclei of the water droplets will attract all the dirt as you drive down the road. So that's why when I see people just pulling out of a car wash without bothering to dry the car further from what the junky job this thing does, is that, you know, you just wasted your money, because as you drive down the road, all that dirt's going to get up there and it leaves streaks, and especially on SUVs down the backside. Yep, you really have to pay attention to the drying, my friends. Well, this might be a good time for an edit. Now here we go. We'll turn over the LaCrosse. Oh, there's the starting procedure. There's still a key here. There is no push button start. And there's a little eco mode up there that tells me. Now the car has the auto stop feature to it, which when you come to a stoplight or a stop sign or whatever, it should just kind of shut off on its own. It does that sometimes, not all the time. Like right now, we're not in auto stop. But that's the part about the mild hybrid that really adds in the extra MPGs. And I'll toggle over on this screen in a minute and let you know how I've been doing for the week. The car's been here for about 5 days, and I always reset the information display when I get these cars so that I get my mileage. If you believe these things, you know, I mean, I guess if they're there, they should be accurate, right? Here we go. Okay, so far for the week, in very non-performance like driving, of course, I'm averaging 24.7 miles per gallon. Anyway, now back to the car. This, unless I'm missing it somewhere, is the only hybrid I can ever remember driving that doesn't say hybrid anywhere. There's nothing that says eAssist, not that I've seen, not on the outside, not on the inside. Passerbys are just like, hey, it's a Buick LaCrosse. They'll have no idea that it's got eAssist. So that's kind of weird. I wonder if people like that. It's got, as I said before, these great seats. That's the real highlight. And the ride quality is awesome. You know, everybody seems to want and talk about a European ride quality. Everybody wants that BMW tightness to the suspension and the handling and all that stuff. I think that, you know, if I was Buick, you know what I would do? I would promote the American ride quality is back in the all-new LaCrosse. That's what I would say, because that's what it is. This is an American ride quality. It's not sloppy like it was back in the 70s and 80s, not that kind of American ride quality. It's just really great at sucking up all the bumps and road anomalies, and it just feels great. It really does. If you were to take a trip, this would be one of the first cars to put on my list for comfort. And it's quiet in here too. You know, I think Buick does that quiet tuning stuff, sound deadening materials and all that. And it works. I mean, it really is quiet in here. You know what it doesn't have, and it ticks me off, because I love Bluetooth streaming audio, because I just bring my iPhone into the car and boom, click. You know, I put my Rhapsody on and I've got all these tunes for free. But it doesn't have that. Why, I don't know. It has Bluetooth for phone, not for audio. So you miss out on that feature. Now, the one problem I have with most hybrids is, and this has a 4-cylinder engine, right? And it's got the battery pack in the back and an electric motor that assists when it feels necessary to do so to improve economy. But the braking is always the worst part. And the brakes on this are bizarre in that they have good feel, you know, relatively speaking, but what they don't do is do it smoothly. You'll take your foot off the gas in anticipation of braking, and that regenerative braking will be really herky-jerky to the car sometimes. Doesn't happen all the time, but it happens enough to be noticeably annoying. But otherwise, I like the power delivery. I like the fact that when it starts off, you know, there's not any of that hybrid confusion going on. The auto stop feature's nice, you know, takes off smoothly. The power's decent, you know, I wouldn't complain about that, especially for the typical LaCrosse buyer. See there, we just went from start-stop to engine. Very smooth, no problems there. So that's good. There is no sunroof in this car. I assume it's not there for weight savings. It does have a head-up display. You know, GM's been doing that for a million years. They started it on back in the 90s with the Cadillacs in this format. And I still like it, you know. I think it's still a cool feature to be able to keep your eyes up on the road like this, see everything that's going on. It even gives you your radio station information. I think that's very helpful. And we'll do a few walk-around shots in the guerrilla style that is today's drive time segment here. It's not particularly cold today, which is great, because I absolutely hate shooting in the cold. And if you've seen some of the readouts on the thermometers in the cars recently, have you noticed it's like 6 degrees? And that's after it's warmed up by like 10 degrees. The worst. Okay, let's go. Okay, yeah, we are outside taking a look. This is that Buick LaCrosse I was telling you about. It's a fine looking car, you know, with these little faux portholes up here. A 3-holer Buick, I guess you would call this, right? And yeah, it's a sharp looking car, it really is. I've always liked that grille since they brought this onto the LaCrosse. It's got little 17-inch wheels. Are these low rolling resistance tires? Energy savers, probably are. Yeah, they're Michelin's. And yeah, it's a sharp looking car. It's got the turn signals on the side view mirrors. Yeah, see, it just says Buick LaCrosse. Not a thing about eAssist or hybrid. And here's the, yeah, this is where you put the gas in, hopefully less often than you normally would. Okay, it's getting cold, so we're gonna go inside. And I wanna show you something here. I have whacked my knee on this part of the dash every single time I've gotten out of the car. See how it curves around like that? I'm about 6'1", and that'll leave a mark. And I've done that about 8 million times. Harman Kardon speakers. It's got auto up-down on the windows. Here are these great seats. Super comfy. They really are. Love these seats. And memory settings, which is good because my wife's like 5'2", and we have that battle every week. So when I get a memory setting, boom, I'm #1, baby. Goes right in. Here's another weird thing, is the door handle grabs on this. See this here? Your hand always wants to go here, and it looks cool, but it, you know, it's like way down here. And I think that's kind of bizarre. So we'll fire her up. And it has remote start too. Remote start's awesome. You live where I live, you want remote start. And having it as a factory installed option, I think, is awesome. Okay, here it is. Here's the gauge cluster. Yes, ice is possible. What else does it tell us? Well, there's my average economy, if you thought I was lying. 24.7. And over here are those little cheesy eco gauges. I think these things are going to be laughed at someday. You know, I mean, I guess it's interesting to look down occasionally to see where it is you are. You know, how you're driving, but... And then over here, you can see where it says auto stop. So that's where the needle will drop to when the engine dies and the electricity gets you through your stoplight, thus saving gas. Over here is the screen with all of this interesting Buick information on it. It's got XM, which is GM's sat radio company of choice. And then down here, you've got 3 settings for your heated seats. No heated steering wheel. Has an eco mode as well for the HVAC stuff. And you can manually shift this car, as you can see here. You just got to kick this over one. It's got the park assist. There's your traction control button. And you know what's cool about these GM cars? I don't think a lot of people know this, but did you know you can, see that? I just paused live radio. And then, boom, I can start it again. That's one of those features nobody talks about. GM has brought it into cars. It's a great thing. I'm guilty too. I don't think I've ever brought it up, but that's a great feature. And a buddy of mine recently told me they're not putting it in GM cars anymore because nobody uses it. But I think it's kind of neat. Let's see, what else do you need to know about this? Oh yeah, the navigation system. That's what the map looks like. It's not the best, but it certainly is far from the worst. It's I'd say somewhere above average for today's navigation systems. You can go in and configure it all here. And when you wanna plug your phone in, it goes in this tiered console. I can never, yeah, there. See, I've got my iPhone cable in here, but no Bluetooth streaming audio. And then here you've got the little louvered cover for your 2 gigantic American-sized cup holders. And, oh, and OnStar. You know what? I don't think people give OnStar enough play either, because that's a great telematics feature to have for everything. And I know you have to pay for it eventually. I know some of it comes free for a while, but that's a neat system. I really like OnStar. I think they've made it a lot better, because for the most part now you don't really interact with humans anymore. I don't know if you know that or not, but when you hit the OnStar button, it'll just start, you know, prompting you to say things to an automated system, and then it works. So it's neat. Okay, so this is the front. You can see what I said about the wood, the leather wrap dash. Very nice interior, very quiet. We'll now check out the back seats. This is quite fun. Now I can see why people do this. It's so easy. Normally we spend a whole day shooting a drive time segment. I can do this one in about 15 minutes. Look at the room. Now I've got that seat right here, right, positioned where I would normally sit as someone with 6, you know, 1 long legs. And they've got the little carve outs here for the knees, but boy, I certainly wouldn't need it. I mean, I'm way back here. Here, look at this. That's good stuff. Very nice again back here. Very comfortable seats. It does have the little bump here in the floor, so you probably won't sit three across particularly comfortably. And, you know, a nice high quality headliner, good leather materials, nice use of the wood. The chrome accents are very nice. You can see that here. So yeah, it's a comfortable car. Oh, now we should show you the trunk. Because Buick owners love their trunks. That's what I've come to learn. Oh, yep, that's the case, all right. So here's the trunk. And I'll take my camera bag out. And you can see what happens to the trunk space here. You know, there's the little symbol for the battery, right? It's kind of tiered up in there, but that's kind of weird. It's like all gerrymandered up. You know, you could fit, you know, some things in here, but obviously you're losing some as well, losing some space. And it's got the little cargo net here. And shall we look at the engine? There's really not usually much to see anymore. Usually shrouded in a cover. As you can tell, it's a little windy today. Another reason I'm glad we're not out really shooting a drive time segment. So here we go. Ah, the Ecotech. Yes. And these orange cables right here signify, you know, don't bite me, because the voltage might kill you. And we can see the sophisticated 4-cylinder engine. I believe it's of 2.4 liters of displacement. And yeah, here's your battery cover. Here, there's really not much to say. You can't see a whole lot of the motor, the electric motor components. And of course, this is a front-wheel drive car, goes without saying. Very good. So here we go. This is Buick LaCrosse 2012 eAssist. Approximately $38,000 as seen here. Available now at your Buick dealer. Okay, so that basically concludes this very unique special 14th anniversary drive time segment. It's cold, it's windy. There's no one here to help me celebrate except for you. And I thank you for the 7 million views we're up to. And hopefully this style, which has become so prolific and popular on YouTube, will take off today for us. I want 100,000 views in 2 hours. Yeah, because this is how car reviews, I think, are done successfully now. So perhaps this is the formula I will follow going forward. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.